issue number 2 of Darkhawk. I don't really want to call this that, but we're going to go over issue 2 of Darkhawk. So if you remember from issue 1, Chris Powell found the amulet. His dad turned out to be a crooked cop. His mom was a district attorney going after the Philip Basin crime family. And we also saw Hobgoblin searching for the amulet. So at the end of the last issue, Chris vowed to take the fight to the people who were terrorizing his family. And most comics, I think they would probably develop it a little bit more. But Darkhawk, the first panel of the next issue, he just jumps straight through the window and basically decides to scare Philip Basin. So you see him up there. He's here fighting the goons and all that, launching his claw, shooting a few Darkhawk or Dark Blasts, I think is what he calls them. And also here on the top left panel, you discover that he can make a shield, which is pretty sweet. Him and Philip have a few back and forth, nothing too big. Darkhawk drags him over to the window and proceeds to chuck him out, and then saves him with his little toy machine claw there. And then he basically tells Philip to he'll be watching everything he does, every operation, everything you got a finger in. If you're smart, you'll move away. And he tells him he's gonna see him around, and then he backs out right into the Hobgoblin. Hits him up there. Hobgoblin's still trying to steal the ammo back. Knocks Darkhawk down a little bit. Chris fires his grappling claw, gets into the wall there. And then comes back. They do their all fighting stuff. And then Hobgoblin does the old possum trick, drops down, tries to pull the amulet off his chest. Darkhawk creates separation. For some reason, the news helicopter's trying to talk to him, figure out who he is. But then that distraction causes him to get hit by the Hobgoblin's pumpkin bombs, knocks him down into the street, falls down, gets hurt. Steak and burgers. Falls down into the alleyway where he's all cut up here. And at that point, then Darkhawk rather, turns back into Chris, and that fools Hobgoblin enough. He gives some line about no another costume crazy, don't you hurt me too, and if you mean that super dude who just landed on top of me, he went that away. So Hobgoblin runs off, chases after him, and leaves Chris to take the long way home. He just walks the subway, and goes home back to his family. Something I guess I didn't touch on with the first issue was just how close the Powells were to the Wonderland Park that got taken down, but that's their house, and then this is Wonderland being demolished. That'll be important coming up here. So, yeah, just remember that. Grace, husband just left, got 3 kids. She is going back to work, working on the Basin prosecutions, and leaves Chris to take care of Jason and Jonathan. And then you get a little flashback here, Chris, or everybody reminding us about the Unforgettable issue 1, which was just 1 issue ago. So there goes Grace off to the DA's office. Chris is hanging out with Jason and Jonathan, and they have a big argument over whether or not Dad was a crooked cop and all this stuff. And then Chris hears the Hobgoblin screaming towards the house for dramatic effect, because then he peels off about 5 seconds later and heads towards Wonderland. There's another reminder about issue 1. You get some internal monologues here, where Hobgoblin's upset that his enemies think he can mock him, blah, blah, blah. Once he gets the power of the amulet, then they will be forced to see they're not hideous, but handsome, not evil. The essence of all that is good. That's, I guess I got to read those Spider-Man issues to figure out what the exact issue is. But that's Hobgoblin's motivation, getting the amulet to get more power, more respect. And then he also sees Spider-Man jumping on the hood of a car, getting ready to follow Hobgoblin over in there. And then we've also got a reference to Nova out there. And if you're not reading the New Warriors, shame on you. So here we have Spider-Man and Hobgoblin doing their fight off in Wonderland. Hobgoblin shreds the webbing off of his face and throws some pumpkin bombs and razor bats. Spider-Man gets beat up a little bit, and then the pumpkin bomb falls on these men right here. And Chris, decides he's going to go help him out, tells the kids to stay at home. So he runs over there, lifts it up with his bare man strength, picks it up, and then Chris is watching Spider-Man and Hobgoblin go at it. He noticed Spider-Man's getting his butt kicked. And then changes into Darkhawk, and he's not bleeding anymore, not even a scratch. I mean, you'll see that later on. Chris will bounce back and forth between the various bodies to either heal a wound or that either Chris or Darkhawk obtain. And so you get Darkhawk come up here and Wolverine slash in the back of Hobgoblin, complete with a little bit of blood shooting off. And then so Hobgoblin, starts fighting with Darkhawk, blah, blah, go back and forth. A little bit of a coloring error up here in the upper right panel. It's supposed to be a Darkhawk blast, but it's coming out yellow when it should be more of a bluish, maybe purple, as seen down there. Once again, Hobgoblin tries to rip the amulet off of Darkhawk's chest, which will be a recurring theme you'll see throughout the series, is people always trying to rip that damn amulet off his chest. Hobgoblin chucking a girder at him. I didn't realize he was that strong, but anyways, chucking girders. Darkhawk redirects it, and then you get Spider-Man, who finishes off Hobgoblin with the clothesline. The girder's going straight towards the house, but Darkhawk manages to save it, saving the kids. And then Spider-Man gets all pissed off, makes a shield out of webbing, and then proceeds to beat the piss out of Hobgoblin with it. And but Hobgoblin gets Hobgoblin. That's a tough word to say a lot. Breaks away here at the very end with the old finger blast of doom in Darkhawk's face, and then he flies off on his glider. And then Spider-Man, Darkhawk, they've got the typical post-villain battle hero roundtable where they talk about, Darkhawk's actions. He's the rookie guy. Spider-Man's been around for a while. That's why, get another chance of, if we're on the same side. Oh, of course we're. Why he threw Basin out his window. You're not an enforcer for a mob. Spider-Man's just questioning him, and, Darkhawk gets the old parenting talk. I don't know you. I've got a feeling you don't even know yourself. You don't want to kill a Basin or a Hobgoblin. Think about the consequences. Yeah, sure. They have courts for that stuff, right? Only the Hobgoblin. So you see, Darkhawk doesn't quite have the moral compass of a Spider-Man. He likes to live in the gray a little bit, make him an edgy hero, So that is it for issue 2. More of an action issue. I mean, we jump straight to Darkhawk going after the Basin Mafia, and then the whole Spider-Man and Hobgoblin battle, and we'll see that continue in the next issue. So until next time, guys, stay dark.
Stay dark.